Yeah. I want to quickly run one guy by you. We've gone a little long here, but and maybe I'll make this a little bonus one for just the YouTube freaks out there.
We can do
But
it. I'm here.
yeah,
I'm here. If you want to stretch
I
it
want to
out.
ask you about Noa Essengue,
Yes.
because he's someone who, like I wrote earlier this year, just like he's got Raptors ass pick written all over him, like extremely Masai Ujiri's type of guy. And this kind of goes into another question that I kind of want to run by you, because you've been on the show in the past, and I think you've spoken pretty glowingly about the Raptors' developmental sort of infrastructure and their drafting and talent evaluation. Seemed like they fell on hard times there for a couple of years. The last couple of years, they seem to maybe be coming back around. They had a very good draft considering where they were picking last year. Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed. We'll see about Jonathan Mobo. Jamison Battle got an NBA deal as an undrafted guy. They seem to be like prioritizing development in a way that they didn't maybe in the waning Nick Nurse years. And I still think they're damn good at drafting and identifying talent and kind of making the most of their draft slot. And like this all kind of goes into the Essengue thing where he's very much a projection, right? Trying to figure out what he's going to become one day. He also, again, just ticks a lot of the boxes that have typically made Masai Ujiri want to take a guy in the past. Thoughts on Essengue, and further to that, thoughts on the Raptors being the type of team that could take a dude like that, who's very raw and still needs a lot of refinement, and kind of get him to where he might need to go.
Well, first on the development, I just feel like the Van Vliet, Siakam, I feel like I'm missing somebody.
There was OG. There was Norm
OG.
Powell was a big one. Yeah.
I just feel like that kind of just raised the expectations going forward.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I think a lot of Raptors fans, and you know the pulse of the Raptors fan base a lot better than I do, are looking for that next Siakam or this undrafted Van Vliet guy that ends up, you know, I mean, he's making like $46 million this year. So
yeah. Give me my like once a generation development story multiple times, please. Yeah, that's what they're after.
yeah. So I think the fans got a little bit spoiled with that. I'm all in on Essengue. I was at a game. It was a tournament in Dubai last spring where he had like 33 points and like 17 rebounds, but it was just all off activity or getting steals, playing the passing lanes, offensive rebounds, cutting. And what I love about Essengue is that he's been productive everywhere he's played. He was 17 years old most of this season. One of the youngest, I think he is the absolute youngest player in this draft. And he's played in the top league in Germany, scored double figures. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but there was a preseason game against the Blazers where he had 19 or 20 points. Yes, the Blazers didn't have DeAndre Ayton playing, and they were down a couple starters, but it was still a 17-year-old scoring 19 or 20 points in the NBA arena. And what I love about him is that he's been productive across the board with glaring holes in his game. And from a developmental standpoint, you look at that and say, all right, if we can add a jumper, if we can add some on-ball creation, then what do we have here? And so I kind of liken him to a combination of Sean Marion and Tayshaun Prince.
Love it.
In the Marion mode, it's like, all right, this is a guy that's going to score double figures and we're not running plays for him. He's going to get a steal. That's going to turn into a layup. That's 2 points. He's going to get fouled. He's going to make 2 free throws. That's 4 points. He's going to be in the right place at the right time twice a game. So you can easily get 10 points from him without running a single play or an ISO. And I think you need those guys on your team. Sure. Now, if he develops a jumper, then that adds another layer of intrigue. And then defensively, I think he can be Tayshaun Prince. Sometimes guys being really thin kind of works against him, and he definitely needs to put on weight. He's real thin. He's like 6'9", 6'10", like $190. But I think for him, he has the mobility to where he can chase guys off screens. And I'm just throwing out an example here. Like he's a guy that maybe you can put on Steph Curry. Yes, Steph is going to get his shots, but he has the length to chase him around screens. He can get skinny where he can slide through some of those screens, and he has the length to at least contest. So I think he can be a really impactful defender. I love the motor. I love the rebounding, but I would really, really be intrigued by, from a developmental standpoint, of what can we add to his game to take him to another level. So that, to me, that's a Raptors type pick.
Yeah, I'm very Essengue pilled myself. I think the guy who comes to mind, and this is like an old school one, he just kind of looks like Marcus Johnson out there, just like throwing down cool dunks, looking groovy. Like he's got like a really cool cadence and style to how he plays. Like if the Raptors end up with him, that's again, if they're 7, 8, or 9, and some of these other guys are off the board, it feels like the most Masai decision of all time. Just be like, well, we got to take the interesting French wing with all these tools that we can try to build up. You know, as of course the GM who has been searching for a Giannis-like guy ever since he didn't get Giannis in the draft. You know, this feels like the latest in a long, long line. Not to say he's going to be Giannis. He's not nearly as big, physical, et cetera, et cetera. Different guys, but same idea. We know Masai Ujiri and wings go together like, beer and wings. I don't know. We'll leave it there.